Hey everyone, my name is Adrian, welcome back to my channel, Space Colossal Gaming, and welcome to the start of a brand new series, DragonAge. We're starting off with DragonAge Origins, and later on Awakening, and then we're going to move on to DragonAge 2 and DragonAge Inquisition. The main reason why I decided to go with this trilogy, apart from the fact that it was voted on in the poll we had on the channel, is because it's gonna be a preparation for the new DragonAge The Veilguard that's coming out later this year, unless, as all famous games, it gets postponed for some reason. With that being said, let's jump straight into it with a new game, selecting DragonAge Origins, and let's see.
The Chantry teaches us that it is the hubris of men which brought the Darkspawn into our world. The mages had sought to usurp heaven, but instead they destroyed it. They were cast out, twisted and cursed by their own corruption. They returned as monsters, the first of the Darkspawn. They became a blight upon the lands, unstoppable and relentless. The Dwarven kingdoms were the first to fall, and from the deep roads, the Darkspawn drove at us again and again, until finally we neared annihilation. The Grey Wardens came. Men and women from every race, warriors and mages, barbarians and kings. The Grey Wardens sacrificed everything to stem the tide of darkness, and prevailed. It has been 4 centuries since that victory, and we have kept our vigil. We have watched and waited for the Darkspawn to return. But those who once called us heroes have forgotten. We are few now, and our warnings have been ignored for too long. For I have seen with my own eyes what lies on the horizon. Maker, help us all.
And that was an awesome little introduction scene into the build-up and the backstory of the world we're about to dive into. We have quite a few options for a game that's relatively old, as into choosing the races, the classes, the backgrounds of the character you're gonna play. So we can play as humans, as elves, and as dwarves. And each one of the classes has their own benefits and bonuses, as you can see, and each one comes with a separate backstory that you can choose from, and some of them are even limited as to not being able to play specific classes. For example, the dwarves can only play either a warrior class or a rogue class. They cannot play mages, and you have to choose from a dwarf commoner or a dwarf noble. You cannot choose any of the other factions in the backgrounds. If you were to play a human, you can play all three races, but for example, if you were to play a mage, you can only play a tower mage. So that's a fun little and interesting little concept they had back then, and I love it. This entire series is one of the best fantasy RPG style series games that I've ever played, and I hope it stays that way, even though most of what I've seen from DragonAge The Veilguard is mixed reviews at best, but I'll give it the benefit of the doubt at least until I play it. With that being said, I've played a human noble and a dwarf noble, and each faction you would choose has a different beginning of the game and different dialogues as you progress. So I would recommend you try and play the game a few times, because it's actually worth it and you get to experience it from a different angle. With that being said, for this playthrough, I'm gonna be playing the human noble warrior build, and you'll see why when we start with the background and the intro you're gonna have. So we do have a lot of options for the character creation. You have presets, you have your own gauges you can set to pick different styles for everything. With that being said, I'm just gonna create my character and we'll go from there. No facial tattoos. Let's see. He is a noble, so yeah, I think that's eyebrows, color, a little grandpa. Okay, let's see. Okay, clean. And that's gonna be pretty much it for my character creation. I do like the other defaults. And as for the name, let's see. This has always been the hardest part for me in any game I've played. Let's just go with this channel name. No one's gonna know what it means. Space Coastland. So, I have some extra attribute points to spend. We're starting off with, of course, strength and dexterity and constitution, because we went with the warrior class, and each one of the points brings different benefits, you can call them. Basically, as you know, strength means you have higher damage with melee attacks, physical combat, and basically if you were to go with a dual wielding style and stuff like that. Dexterity is your agility reflexes, so you can't get knocked back, you can dodge traps, stuff like that. Willpower and magic are basically the two attributes you would be assigning to mages. Cunning, as you know, is what you would be adding to a rogue build, and constitution is basically your health. So in this case, I'm let's see. So I'm just gonna add, for starters, 3 on strength and 2 on constitution, and we'll go from there. As for the skills, so basically depending on what class you would like to play, you can develop your character as you see fit. However, I like to, regardless of which type of character I'm playing, I always want to upgrade the coercion, which is basically your charisma, if you can call it that, which helps you out in conversations, getting discounts, stuff like that. And then you can always get stealing, not only on rogues, because it does tend to come in handy, but that depends on your build. And you upgrade combat training because you're a warrior, and later on you can always go into combat tactics. But for now, I'll just add it here and we'll move on. Now we have a variety of builds we can select on every type of character we play. The warrior has just the regular warrior, then you have dual wielding, archery, weapon and shield, and two-handed. So this would be for the heavy weapons like the great axe, great sword, hammer, something like that. This is your basic tanky weapon and shield builds. You have archery if you'd like to play with range combat, and dual wielding is one that I personally am going to use in this playthrough, because I would like to get dual wielding type of character in the playthrough as it progresses. So with that being said, you cannot unlearn this, unfortunately, so it's always going to be there. But we're going to start off with the passive powerful, and then the dual striking as a skill. So you can choose from 4 different difficulties: easy, normal, hard, and nightmare. And well, I'm personally a fan of playing this game on normal because story-wise it's a lot more rewarding than the combat system itself. Which I'm also going to use for this playthrough. The hardest difficulty I've managed to clear it on is hard. Nightmare for me has been impossible so far. So if anyone would like a challenge, I recommend it full-heartedly. But with that being said, our game has crashed. Okay, give me just 1 second and let me sort this out.
Your family, the Kuzlans, has stewarded the lands of Highever, earning the loyalty of your people with justice and temperance. When your country was occupied by the Orlesian Empire, your father and grandfather served the embattled kings of your land. Today, your elder brother takes up House Kuzlan's banner in service to the crown, not against the men of Orlais, but against the bestial darkspawn rising in the south.
I trust then that your troops will be here shortly.
I expect they will start arriving tonight, and we can march tomorrow. I apologize for the delay, my lord. This is entirely my fault.
No, no. The appearance of the Darkspawn in the south has us all scrambling, doesn't it? I only received the call from the king a few days ago myself. I'll send my eldest off with my men. You and I will ride tomorrow just like the old days.
True, but we both had less grey in our hair then, and we fought all legions, not monsters.
At least the smell will be the same. I'm sorry, Pup, I didn't see you there. Hal, you remember my son?
I see he's grown into a fine young man. Pleased to see you again, lad.
So first things first, I'm very sorry about that. I had to work on the resolution because the game is older and it doesn't handle certain settings. With that being said, this is our very own unique start for the human noble. With that being said, we have the conversation, and it does come with certain choices that have an impact on some of the relations with some of the characters, so everyone can play the game, you know, at their own pace and in their own way. For me, for now, we'll play nice and we'll see how it goes.
My daughter Delilah asked after you. Perhaps I should bring her next time. Good. She goes on about your prowess as a warrior. I think you have an admirer, young man.
At any rate, Pup, I summoned you for a reason. While your brother and I are both away, I'm leaving you in charge of the castle.
And so we can go about in different ways to each conversation.
I'm certain you'd
Now-
more than prove yourself, but I am not willing to deal with your mother if you join the war. She'd kill me if I let you go. She's already twisted into knots about Fergus and me going. I doubt that. You know your mother, and she made it clear there is no debate. This is no needless task. I ask you to take a great responsibility. Only a token force is remaining here, and you must keep peace in the region. You know what they say about mice when the cat is away, yes? There's also someone you must meet. Please, show Duncan in.
It is an honor to be a guest within your hall, Tyrn Cousland.
Your lordship, you didn't mention that a Grey Warden would be present.
Duncan arrived just recently, unannounced. Is there a problem?
Of course not. But a guest of this stature demands certain protocol. I am at a disadvantage.
We rarely have the pleasure of seeing one in person, that's true. Pup, Brother Aldous taught you who the Grey Wardens are, I hope.
Not permanently, I fear.
Without their warning of the Darkspawn rising now, half the nation could have been overrun before we'd had a chance to react. Duncan is looking for recruits before joining us and his fellow Wardens in the south. I believe he's got his eye on Sir Gilmore.
If I might be so bold, I would suggest that your son is also an excellent candidate.
Honor though that might be, this is one of my sons we're talking about.
Well, it's gonna get us out of the castle, so sounds like fun.
I've not so many children that I'll gladly see them all off to battle. Unless you intend to invoke the right of conscription.
Have no fear. While we need as many good recruits as we can find, I've no intention of forcing the issue.
Pup, can you ensure that Duncan's requests are seen to while I'm gone? In the meantime, find Fergus, and tell him to lead the troops to Ostagar ahead of me. Upstairs in his chambers, no doubt, spending some last moments with his wife and my grandson. Be a good lad and do as I've asked. We'll talk soon.
Where was that thing? Yeah, I forgot it. So basically, as you guys may have read, and I completely forgot, you can use your scroll to play in tactical mode, or you can play as I will, which is, I guess, third person. So we're gonna have some time to explore before we actually need to, you know, go and do something. Just so you guys can get a full scope of the surroundings, of the
I shall do it.
area and the options you have while playing. And of course, a lot of these games, especially the older ones, tend to reward the player
Shall be done.
if he is
Whole Darkspawn army.
into exploring and everything.
You will be up very. Castle is so eerie with everyone preparing
Talk
to
to me.
ride south.
How about
It'll
you?
be so empty.
The castle is so eerie with everyone preparing to ride south. It'll be so empty. It is begun.
Now, the only way to unlock certain chests like this is if you have either the thief skill or if you're a rogue. Other than that,
Good evening, my lord.
some of those are out of our reach, so to say.
Good evening, my lord.
Good evening. We're currently in the courtyard, I believe, and have some options on where to explore before we continue with the quest, even
Shall
though
be
a
done.
lot of the locks are in place and we cannot go to certain rooms. Now, the game itself has a lot of explorable, I guess, interactable shelves, books, stuff like that, and you gain experience from them, so I'd recommend always doing them because it's gonna help out your level quite a lot.
Maker, prepare a place for us. Redeem our world from sin. Forgive our transgressions.
Maker, forgive us all.
Have you come to pray for your brother and father? I'd be happy to ask for the Maker's blessings with you. Please, child, call me Malol. I've known you since you were a wee babe after all. Creator of the sky, the land, and the sea. Hear your people in our time of need. Let no man have cause to fear the shadows. Let their souls be lifted upon your return. So let it be. There now. I'll be keeping a vigil tonight. You're welcome to come. There are many more who must receive the Maker's blessings before they leave. If you would excuse me.
See if we
cannot.
can get some questions.
Many await my attendance before they march into the unknown. We shall talk once the soldiers have departed.
Okay then. Okay, we just came from there. Let's see. What are our options?
It shall be done. Oh, my lord, we were just, well, the treasury's safe. I'm not even sure why the Cairn stationed us here. I don't know. Nobody has come to look at the treasury. The Cairn, and perhaps the Tanner? Honestly don't know, my lord. My lord is very kind to show
You
us
guys
such
have
lenience.
some fun. You're all marching off to battle, so you deserve some leisure before that. With that being said, we can't access the treasury right now.
There you are. Your mother told me the Terran had summoned you, so I didn't want to interrupt. Yes, I saw the Isle arrive. I fear your hound has the kitchens in uproar once again, and is threatening to leave. Your mother disagrees. She insists you collect the dog, and quickly. You know these Mabari hounds. They listen only to their master. Anyone else risks having an arm bitten off.
True.
That would be wise, before Nan tears down the walls. You're quite lucky to have your own Mabari warhound, you know. Smart enough not to talk, my father used to say. Of course, that means he's easily bored. Nan swears he confounds her just to amuse himself. At any rate, your mother would have me accompany you until the matter is settled, shall we?
I guess we shall.
She was entertaining Lady Landra and her son when I left her. Perhaps in the atrium? Before we go, my lord, might I beg a question? I've heard from several people that a Grey Warden is here. Is that true? Then, is it also true that this Grey Warden was asking after me? Maker's breath, are you certain? Can you imagine me, a Grey Warden? It would be everything I've dreamed of! Of course, I shouldn't get ahead of myself. Pardon my outburst.
Okay, let's see.
Hello, my dear boy. By chance, I am beginning to teach these young squires about your family's history.
Do we have to? History is boring.
Boys, you are referring to the Couslands, the very family in whose castle you live. Show some respect. If the mind is not exercised, it withers just as the body does. Perhaps you'd care to join me in teaching the lesson? Wonderful. Oh, the Cousland history is long indeed. Where shall we start? Records are vague, but the Couslands became Tierns during the Black Age. Is that familiar, child? Every day I pray to the Maker that my lessons will stick, and every day he tasks me anew. At that time, your family held only the minor title of Ban. When the werewolves reached this area, Ban Mather Cousland organized a curfew and patrols within the city. Several other local bands supported his efforts by swearing oaths of fealty, making him their Tiern. Well, I'm glad some of my lessons don't disappear into that yawning chasm between your ears, young man.
Rude.
If I were truly a skilled tutor, I suspect I would not encounter such insouciance amongst my pupils.
Had to snap back.
You can look that up later. At any rate, your family has held the tournure of High Ever since before King Callan had united Ferelden. In fact, Tierna Elathea Cousland battled Callanhad to maintain High Ever's independence. Callanhad wished to unite Ferelden, not conquer it. After Elathea's men were defeated, Callanhad asked her to swear fealty. The boulder where they held council still stands today as a memorial of that event. The history between the Couslands and the House reaches back to the Orlesian occupation. During your grandfather's rule, of course Orlais found it difficult to hold these lands. During the rebellion against Orlais, several battles were fought near High Ever. The port village of Harper's Ford was the tourneur's center. Its Arl was Tarleton Howe. Though nearly 90, he was still as sharp and bitter as cheap ale. Your grandfather openly supported the rebellion, but Howe sided with Orlais. Your family was forced to seize Harper's Ford before it was all over. Correct. That caused a rift between the two families. As you might imagine, the Howes eventually joined the rebellion, when all of Ferelden united behind King Merrick and General Logain. Just as now we united behind Merrick's son, King Kaelan, to fight the Darkspawn. Thank you for indulging an old man.
Does that mean we have to listen to you now?
Silence! I will not have you two becoming smart-mouthed hooligans. Perhaps you should go. I doubt they need any more distraction. I'm just going to settle in here and apparently just talk to myself for all the good I'm doing.
Wow, that was gloomy. Come on. Okay, so the starting of the game itself is pretty uneventful.
I shall do it.
Until a certain point that's coming up ahead. So you just have to bear with it, and if you're actually interested in lore and stuff like that, you might actually even like it. But that aside,
It shall be done.
once we're done with basically exploring and roaming around the castle, what we're gonna do is we're gonna continue the main storyline, and that's gonna bring us to the first big event of the game. Okay, so there's nothing else here, but I wouldn't want to spoil too much, so let's see just what we can do for now. This is the ball. I haven't played this game for 2 or 3 years. Completely forgotten about what's happening. So, oh, yeah, you guys can hear that already.
It is begun.
Get that bloody mutt out of the larder.
But mistress, it won't let us near.
If I can't get into that larder, I'll skin both of you useless elves, I swear it.
Calm down, good woman. We've come to help.
You and you! Your bloody mongrel keeps getting into my larder. That beast should be put down. Just get him gone. I've enough to worry about with a castle full of hungry soldiers. You two, stop standing there like idiots. Get out of the way!
She's so mean. Okay, with that being said, let's see. Oh, come on. Okay, so this is part of the sets we have from the DLCs. Some of it is present, some of it is not yet. We're gonna get it later on. But basically we cannot use it still because the equipment in the game has certain requirements in order to be used. With that being said, let's just go down and get our dog. Oh, look at this good boy. So handsome.
Oh, look at that mess. How did he even get in here?
He reminds me of my dog.
It does seem like he's trying to tell you something. Wait, did you hear that?
I'm gonna name you like my dog, Lucian. But it's not that bad actually for it just takes some time getting used to.
Giant rats? It's like the start of every bad adventure tale my grandfather used to tell. Your hound must have chased them in through their holes. Looks like he wasn't raiding the larder after all. Doubtful. Look at the garbage they got into. Your hound doesn't eat like that. He's much more finicky. But seeing as you've got your Mabari well in hand, I'll be on my way. I'm to prepare for the arrival of more of the Isle's men.
Very well. And yes, as you can see, the dog has been added to our party, and yes, he is actually technically a playable character, which you can use in your parties going forward.
There he is, as brazen as you please, licking his chops after helping himself to the roast, no doubt.
What? Rats? Not the large grey ones.
They'll rip you to shreds, they will!
See, now you've gone and scared the servants. I expect those filthy things are dead. Oh, I bet that dog led those rats into there to begin with. Oh, don't even start with the sad eyes. I'm immune to your so-called charms. Here then, take these pork bits and don't say that Nan never gives you anything. Bloody dog. Thank you, my lord. Now we can get to work. That's right, you two. Quit standing about.
Okay. And now that that's done, that's locked. We can move forward to what we actually need to do, and I completely forgot where I need to go. Okay, so we take a left, straight, then a left again. Okay.
And my dear Bryce bought this back from Orlais last year. The Marquis who gave it to him was drunk, I understand, and mistook Bryce for the king. Ah, here is my younger son. I take it by the presence of that troublesome hound of yours that the situation in the kitchen is handled?
Yes.
Ah, marvellous. Just the thing for my guests to hear right before dinner. Darling, you remember Lady Landra, Ban Lawrence's wife?
I think we last met at your mother's spring salon.
I'm so proud of my pup's mastery of tact and diplomacy.
Well, it was a lovely salon, from what little I remember.
Which wouldn't be much, considering we had to pour you into the carriage afterwards.
You remember my son, Dyron. I believe you two sparred in the last tourney.
And you beat me handily, as I recall. It's good to see you again, my lord.
And this is my lady-in-waiting, Iona. Do say something, dear.
It is a great honor, my lord. I have heard many wonderful things about you.
Don't look now, Eleanor. But I believe the girl has a crush on your lad.
Lady Landra!
Hush, Landra. You'll turn the poor thing scarlet.
As it pleases you, my lord.
I think perhaps I shall rest now, my dear. Dyron, I will see you and Iona at supper.
Perhaps we'll retire to the study for now.
Good evening, your lordship.
Okay, so before we continue, let's talk
You
to
should
her
say
mom.
goodbye to Fergus while you have the chance.
Let's go through
For a few
the
days.
conversation.
Then I'll travel with Lady Landra to her estate and keep her company for a time. Your father thinks my presence here might undermine your authority. Don't worry, my dear. It won't be long. As do I. Your father and brother are marching off to fight Maker knows what. All the assurances in the world don't comfort me, but it wouldn't help for us to take up arms and follow. Fergus and your father have their duty and we have ours. I know it's difficult to stay in the castle and watch others ride off, but we must see to our duties first. You understand that, don't you? It's in the Maker's hands now, and we must cope as best we can. If he's not out with his men, probably upstairs with Oriana. Yes, your father mentioned that. You haven't got it into your head that you want to be recruited. There's enough here at the castle to occupy you. I don't need you off chasing danger like your brother. I love you, my darling boy. You know that, don't you? Indeed. I turned around and here you are, a fine man in your own right. But that doesn't mean I have to like it. Go do what you must then. I will see you soon.
Okay, so before we go there, I just want to see something. Where was that? Okay, sit down. down to the right, and then to the right again. Wait, which one was it? That's the one.
That is a wonderful dog. He seems very noble and intelligent. Greetings once again, my lord.
So basically, if you were to return as I have now, you have the option for a brief romance with her before the story progresses. So if you would like to do that, just follow the same steps I'm taking.
My lord is very kind. Thank you. My family has been in service to hers for many years. Lady Landra elevated my place as a reward for our loyalty. I hope this position might pass to my daughter. Forgive me, I shouldn't have mentioned her. Her name is Amathine. Her father died of a wasting sickness 2 years ago. Amathine is my life. You will know when you have children. This is why your mother protects you from the coming battle. Aren't we doing just that? What else did you have in mind? I see. I think I might like that. If I come to your door once everyone is asleep, would that be agreeable, my lord? Until tonight, then.
Please call me Space.
Hello
Out of
again.
nowhere.
Your castle study is wonderful. Might I ask whose collection this is? So would I. Do you have a favorite book? Good choice! Timaeus' theory on the nature of dragons and how they connect to Darkspawn is quite intriguing.
And this is a guess, but I believe you can also romance him if you'd like to, regardless of which character you play. But that's just a guess, so don't take me up on that. You can always try it.
Yes, though I don't know when. I will leave when your father does. I'll ride as his second. Glorified squire, more or less. I'll care for his horse and armor and such. It's quite an honor. I hope so. I admit to trepidation about facing Darkspawn, but I can't imagine an opponent more worthy of defeat.
True. And with that, there's nothing else he can actually give us, so...
Of course, my lord. I am
not
sure
gonna
you have
drag out
much
the
to do
conversation any longer than it already has. And with that being said, we can finally go and speak to our brother Fergus and prepare for what's coming next. Okay, that's locked as well.
Good evening, my lord.
And good evening to you, my good man.
As you say.
So, we have our parents' room, our room, and our brother's room.
Is there really going to be a war, Papa? Will you bring me back a sword?
That sword, Oren, and I'll get you the mightiest one I can find, I promise. I'll be back before you know it.
I wish victory was indeed so certain. My heart is disquiet.
Don't frighten the boy, love. I speak the truth, and here's my little brother to see me off. Now dry your eyes, love, and wish me well.
Am I interrupting?
Stay. I'd like to say farewell.
Let's see.
Word from the south is that the battles have gone well. There's no evidence that this is a true blight, just a large raid.
Could that be true?
I'll see for myself soon enough. Pray for me, love, and I'll be back within a month or two.
Really? Was he riding a griffin?
Shh, Oren. Griffins only exist in stories now.
I'd heard that. Did he say why he's come? Good for him. I hope he makes it. If I were a Grey Warden, though, I'd have my eye on you. Not that Father would ever allow it. I wish you could come. It'll be tiring killing all those Darkspawn myself.
Surely your father would not place both his heirs in danger?
Mother and Father have been fighting about it for days. It's too bad. I could have used you at my side. Then the Arl's men are delayed. You'd think his men were all walking backwards. Well, I'd better get underway. So many Darkspawn to behead, so little time. Off we go then. I'll see you soon, my love.
I would hope, dear boy, that you plan to wait for us before taking your leave.
Be well, my son. I will pray for your safety every day you are gone.
I keep telling you, no Darkspawn will ever best me.
The Maker sustain and preserve us all. Watch over our sons, husbands and fathers, and bring them safely back to us.
And bring us some ale and wenches while you're at it. For the men, of course.
Of course.
Fergus, you would say this in front of your mother?
What's a wench? Is that what you pull on to get the bucket out of the well?
A wench is a woman that pours the ale in a tavern, Orin. Or a woman who drinks a lot of ale.
Bryce, Maker's breath. I swear it's like living with a pack of small boys.
I'll miss you, Mother dear. You'll take care of her brother, won't you? It's true. They should be sending her, not me. She would scold those Darkspawn back into the deep roads.
Well, I'm glad you find this so funny.
Enough, enough. Pup, you'll want to get an early night. You've much to do tomorrow.
I have much to do tonight as well, just saying. But after that touching reunion and conversation, we can move on. I like the part that they actually added of Doc to the game and to the party. Let's see if he finds anything. Nothing yet. Okay, well, moving on. We had a fun night, but with that being said, we're about to have, well, a lot more fun, if we can call it that.
Your hound is making so much noise. He seems so angry. I thought I heard yelling when I woke up, but now I hear nothing. I'm gonna see if someone's in the hall.
That's a bad idea. Never mind. I should do more stuff. Let us end this. Let's add the second weapon as well. Range attacks. Nice. Usually get the finishers this early in the game. Let's do it quickly. And we leveled up. Oh yeah, the plus button. So let's see, we're gonna be adding some points to cunning as well, and getting some new skills as well, and then we can probably move on. Yeah, unfortunately our girl didn't make it, and got a lot of fighting. Now not going to be skills here because we don't have we don't actually skills to start. The fights are not as difficult.
Darling, I heard fighting outside and I feared the worst. Are you hurt?
We're great.
Her scream woke me up. There were men in the hall, so I barred the door. Did you see their shields? Those are Howl's men. Why would they attack us? Have you seen your father? He never came to bed. We must find him.
Maybe.
And trust his mercy. What if the soldiers went into your brother's room first? Let's check on them quickly. Then we'll look for Bryce downstairs.
But first things first, we gotta loot the soldiers. Okay, let's see if I can add the mace as my secondary weapon. Not yet. Damage wise, my sword is better, so.
No! My little Oren! What manner of fiend slaughters innocents? He's not even taking hostages. He means to kill all of us. Oh, poor fuckers. Let's go, I don't want to see this.
Yeah, basically, they're trying to overthrow us.
Perhaps we can salvage some things here.
Very well. Exactly what I'm doing.
Some of your father's belongings are in that trunk.
What about this trunk? Nope. Okay. Oh, what? Hold on. Does she have a weapon on though? No. There you go. That way we can make sure she's actually useful in a fight.
Enemies approaching! There is no bloodshed!
The Kusans will not fall to the likes of you!
Okay, let's see. Anyone want to loot? Few.
Very well.
Okay. Anything we can find in the meantime? Not really.
Oh, dear Landra. I'm so sorry. If she hadn't come to me, if she hadn't been here.
So,
can you hear the fighting?
Betrayed by
Howl's
our
men must be
bannermen.
everywhere. My only grandchild is a ravaged corpse. What do I care about danger? The front gates. That's where your father must be. Listen, darling. We haven't much time. If we can't find your father, you must get out of here alive. Without you and Fergus, the entire Kusan line dies here. If Howl's men are inside, they must already control the castle. We must use the servants entering the larder to escape. Do you hear me? Then survive and visit vengeance upon him.
Very well.
I guess that's what we're gonna do. But first things first, we need to put some stuff.
The castle has fallen! I'm getting out of here! Yes, my lord! Here they come!
Okay, sorry about that. The camera I'm using is actually my phone, and I am connecting it through an app. So basically my phone rang and the camera went out. But with that being said, it survives. Guy to stay. He's the only one who didn't receive any damage. Apparently he was one of the reasons we actually won the fight. But with that being said, let's see what we got and if we have any upgrades to add to us. So I still can't. Oh, I do have the option. So we now have 2 weapons. That should help us use our skills now. How long does that last? Before we actually move on, I'd like to check all of the rooms as we go along to see if we'll find any survivors.
You will be avenged, old sage. I swear it.
Unfortunately, the locked chests still remain locked.
We're getting close to the treasury. The Kuzlan family blade lies inside. Here, darling, take my key. That blade cannot fall into Hal's hands. It should sever his treacherous head.
And it will. That's why I brought you here. So, now we can access the treasury. And we can get some stuff from here that are gonna come in handy. Especially in the start of the game. And when we get the other characters. And this is also a longsword that's single-handed, so we can use it along with the dagger. We have a nicer armor to add, and we have a lot of shields, but we're not using a shield in this playthrough. That being said,
Stop them!
yeah, that leading ass has a tendency to miss even in the fights. And I cannot do anything about that. But as you guys saw, we have sustained abilities, and basically what those do is they shorten your stamina or mana pool. Access the character you cannot
Go!
reach.
Man the gate! Keep those bastards out as long as you can! Your ladyship, my lord, you're both alive. I was certain Hal's men had gotten through.
They killed Oriana and Oren. I can't believe... Are you injured?
Don't worry about me, ladyship. Thank the Maker you two are unharmed. When I realised what was happening, it was all I could do to shut the gates. But they won't keep Housemen out long. If you've another way out of the castle, use it quickly. When I last saw the Turn, he'd been badly wounded. I urged him not to go, but he was determined to find you. He went towards the kitchen. I believe he thought to find you at the servants' exit in the larder.
Bless you, Sir Gilmore. Maker watch over you.
Maker watch over us all.
Okay, that's done, and we cannot actually...
Give the Turn time to escape!
Where's the Turn? Does he live?
We cannot actually do anything to help them out, so...
How we do that? Get up
there! Okay, that was...
Run! Maker, help us all! We're gonna die!
Managed to save most of the servants in the process. Those hulls have been cut off to us to basically need to reach the kitchen side.
Be done.
Now that we're taking down,
not paying attention.
Let's add the helm as well.
Very well.
Increase our survivability chances, and we can go to the larder.
It shall be done.
There, you both are. I was
Bryce!
wondering when you would get here.
Maker's blood, what's happening? You're bleeding!
Al's men found me first. Almost did me in right there. He can't get away with this. The king will...
Bryce, we must get you out of here.
I won't survive the standing, I think. My boy. If only Will could make it so.
Once Hal's men break through the gate, they will find us. We must go!
Someone must reach Fergus. Tell him what has happened. Yes. Vengeance.
Bryce, no. The servants' passage is right here. We can flee together, find you healing magic.
The castle is surrounded. I cannot make it.
I'm afraid the Turn is correct. House men have not yet discovered this exit, but they surround the castle. Getting past will be difficult.
You are Duncan, then? The Grey Warden?
Yes, your ladyship. The Turn and I tried to reach you sooner.
My younger son helped me get here. Maker be praised.
I am not surprised.
Whatever is to be done now, it must be quick. They are coming.
Duncan, you are under no obligation to me, but I beg you, Take my wife and son to safety.
I will, your lordship, but I fear I must ask for something in return.
Anything!
What is happening here pales in comparison to the evil now loose in this world. I came to your castle seeking a recruit. The Darkspawn threat demands that I leave with one.
I understand.
You fought your way to me through Hal's men. I think the Maker's intention is clear. I will take the Tyrna and your son to Ostagar to tell Fergus and the king what happened. Then, your son joins the Grey Wardens.
So long as justice comes to Hal. I agree.
Then I offer you a place within the Grey Wardens. Fight with us. We must leave quickly then.
Bryce, are you sure?
Our son will not die of Hal's treachery. He will live and make his mark on the world.
Darling, go with Duncan. You have a better chance to escape without me.
Eleanor.
Hush, Bryce. I'll kill every bastard that comes through that door to buy them time. But I won't abandon you. So we all die? No. Your place is now with the Grey Wardens. Mine is with your father, at his side, to death and beyond.
I'm so sorry it's come to this, my love.
We had a good life, and did all we could. It's up to our children now.
Then go, pup. Warn your brother. Nobody will love you both. You do us proud.
They've broken through the gates. We must go now.
Goodbye, darling.
We will be traveling south through the hinterlands to the ruin of Ostagar, on the edges of the Korkari Wilds. The Tevinter Imperium built Ostagar long ago to prevent the Wilders from invading the northern lowlands. It's fitting we make our stand here, even if we face a different foe within that forest. The King's forces have clashed with the Darkspawn several times, but here is where the bulk of the Horde will show itself. There are only a few Grey Wardens within Ferelden at the moment, but all of us are here. This blight must be stopped, here and now. If it spreads to the north, Ferelden will fall.
Ho there, Duncan.
King Kaelan. I didn't expect a
royal welcome? I was beginning to worry you'd miss all the fun.
Not if I could help it, Your Majesty.
Then I'll have the mighty Duncan at my side in battle after all. Glorious. The other wardens told me you'd found a promising recruit. I take it this is he?
Allow me to introduce you, Your Majesty.
No need, Duncan. You are Bryce's youngest, are you not? I don't think we've ever actually met.
So, up until this point is the unique backstory you would play through for each character and race, and after this it all comes together.
Your brother has already arrived with High-Ever's men, but we are still awaiting your father. News from the north has been unreliable. What's happened?
Terran Cousland and his wife are dead, Your Majesty. Arl Howe has shown himself a traitor and overtaken High-Ever Castle. Had we not escaped, he would have killed us and told you any story he wished.
I can scarcely believe it. Well, how could he think he could get away with such treachery? As soon as we are done here, I will turn my army north and bring Howe to justice. You have my word. No doubt you wish to see your brother. Unfortunately, he and his men are scouting in the wilds. Of that, I have no doubt. You will see him again once the battle is over, I am certain. I apologize, but there's nothing more I can do. All I can suggest is that you vent your grief against the Darkspawn for the time being. I'm sorry to cut this short, but I should return to my tent. Loghain waits eagerly to bore me with his strategies.
Your uncle sends his greetings and reminds you that Redcliffe forces could be here in less than a week.
Ha! Eamon just wants in on the glory. We've won 3 battles against these monsters, and tomorrow should be no different. Overconfident, some would say. Right, Duncan?
Your Majesty, I'm not certain the Blight can be ended quite as quickly as you might wish.
I'm not even sure this is a true Blight. There are plenty of Darkspawn on the field, but alas, we've seen no sign of an archdemon.
Disappointed, Your Majesty?
I'd hoped for a war like in the tales. A king riding with the fabled Grey Wardens against a tainted god. But I suppose this will have to do. I must go before Loghain sends out a search party. Farewell, Grey Wardens.
What the king said is true. They've won several battles against the Darkspawn here. Despite the victories so far, the Darkspawn horde grows larger with each passing day. By now they look to outnumber us. I know there is an archdemon behind this, but I cannot ask the king to act solely on my feeling. Yes, we should proceed with the ritual. Every recruit must go through a secret ritual we call the Joining in order to become a Grey Warden. The ritual is brief, but some preparation is required. We must begin soon. The Joining is dangerous. I cannot speak more of it except to say that you will learn all in good time. Until then, you must trust that what is done is necessary.
That's reassuring.
Feel free to explore the camp here as you wish. All I ask is that you do not leave it for the time being. There is another Grey Warden in the camp by the name of Alistair. When you're ready, seek him out and tell him it's time to summon the other recruits. Your hound can stay with me while I attend to some business. The Grey Warden tent is on the other side of this bridge. You will find us there should you need to.
And we'll do that, but we'll do that in the next video. We're gonna make a cut here for today. Thank you all for joining me. If you liked the video, consider subscribing to the channel, dropping a like and a comment, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.